This is Andi Purewal for ID Boxing. I'm joined by Cutman Russ Anber here in London. Russ, firstly, how are you? How is life treating you?
I'm good. I'm very happy to be here. Week 3 in the UK.
Week 3 indeed, and this past weekend you saw your man Liam Smith stop Chris Eubank Jr in emphatic fashion in the 4th round of their fight up in Manchester. Just as a starting point, Russ, an unbelievable and stunning finish. What did you make of it?
Like everybody else, I think, the preparation for what Joe McNally had put together for Liam's confidence, the stuff we discussed as a team, I think Liam was executing the battle plan to perfection. And that probably was a scenario that all of us figured would happen somewhere after the 6th round, 6, 8, 9, somewhere in there. But Liam got the job done quickly and was able to land a great shot, made a beautiful move on him in the corner that kind of pinned him there and was able to unleash. And I think, a lot of people underestimated that moving up in weight brought up more power in Liam Smith, and I think they underestimated that.
Obviously, after the fight, there was a lot of talk about what next for either of them. Working with Liam, what do you think is most likely? Do you think Eubank Jr will enact that rematch clause?
I think he will. I mean, he's got it. I think he will. I don't know under what terms and conditions the rematch is going to be held, but I think he's certainly going to try to invoke that. And I think he believes that he was, like he said, dominating the fight. Okay, if that's delusional, I don't know. But if he wants to invoke it, then I think he will. And Liam will have to do it. And this time it'll be under Liam's conditions and hopefully in Anfield.
One other thing that has been brought up after that, and some people have suggested that Liam caught Junior with an elbow when he missed one of his hooks. Have you seen those comments? If so, what are your thoughts?
I saw it. I saw the video footage that went with it as well. And, if anything, it was a forearm that glanced over the head, after missing the hook. So certainly nothing intentional, and I don't think that plays into anything that happened regarding the result of the fight.
One thing I'm interested to know is what was your perspective of the end of that 3rd round? We saw Junior that was probably the one round which was definitive for either fighter because Junior was starting to have more success. Liam said, and Joe McNally said, he came back to the corner and he had a bit of a telling off from Joe McNally. What was your thoughts on that?
That's as soon as we got back, like during the round, right at the end, because he had been doing well. He had been doing well up until that point. Liam was doing well, and then he kind of just stood there, and instead of moving his head, he just stayed up and he imposed himself. And what I saw was that Eubank wasn't able to move him even when he was standing right there, and that showed a lot. And I saw Joe get mad. He says, why is he not moving his head? I said, okay, just tell him when he comes back. I said, we're off to a better start than I expected us to be. We're okay. And so he came back and told him, no, don't do that. And if you watch the 4th round, he comes out the first 2 punches. He makes him miss both times, boom, boom. So he gets the head movement back. So he listened very well. Joe called a great fight in the corner, and Liam responded. So, it was a great performance against a great fighter in Chris Eubank.
And Russ, you move forward towards this week. Beterbiev, a dangerous man, comes over here to defend his unified light heavyweight titles against Anthony Yarde. Just your thoughts on what everybody's expecting from this fight?
I think it's 2 dangerous men. I think Anthony's dangerous as well. But everybody who's fighting for a championship of the world generally is supposed to be a dangerous opponent. You're fighting for the championship of the world. You should be dangerous, and that's what Anthony Yarde is. And the champion is supposed to be a good champion and dangerous as well. So I think this is what we're going to get. You're going to get a high-level fight, and that's what I think everyone wants to see.
For Yarde, obviously, there's a lot of talk about what's next. He's never been somebody to look beyond the challenge of an opponent. What's Anthony's best assets that you feel he has to overcome?
That Anthony has to overcome, or that Beterbiev?
Beterbiev has to overcome of Anthony.
Listen, everything, everything he brings, his power, his speed, his upper body strength, there's a lot of things he has to overcome. He has to prove on all aspects of being the better fighter, and that's what boxing is about, right? And then you try to find some weaknesses and you try to exploit those weaknesses, as I'm sure they have looked at Arthur and said, what can we do? Because that's what they're supposed to do. So that's what preparation is for a fight. So, anything in particular, I'm not going to tell you now. You'll see it in the fight. You'll see what goes. We know what we did in camp, and I think it's going to be a great fight.
Nobody's expecting the full 12 rounds here, Russ. What is the game plan for Yarde? What heads into it? I know you don't want to say too much, but he's got this aura, this expectation around him that whenever he steps between the ropes, he's going to produce something devastating. We saw it in the Joe Smith fight most recently. How does he mentally step between the ropes?
I think he goes and handles what comes at him. We're talking about a guy who's had an extensive amateur career, and not only an extensive amateur career, but on the Russian national team, which likely could be just as hard to win a spot on the Russian national team as it is to win an Olympics. You know, that's the quality and depth of the program that they have over there. So he's seen all these things. Whatever he has to do, he will do. You know, I think he's very underrated. Like Liam Smith, he's very underrated as a boxer. And I think if he has to do that, he will.
Well, Russ, we'll leave it there because I know you was about to shoot off to go back to the team hotel. So thank you for speaking to me in ID Boxing.
Oh, I appreciate it, Andy. Thank you very much, man.